This week's coffee is going to be Rwanda Kigoma fully washed red Bourbon. Hello everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 159. I'm your host Stephen Layton, and as I said, this week's going to be all about the Rwanda Kigoma fully washed red Bourbon. So, a Rwandan coffee, which is exciting. This coffee comes from one of the 14 districts that make up the Hoi region in Rwanda. Rwanda is made up of 30 districts, and within Hoi there are 14 regions, Kigoma being one of them. And while I was on my Ethiopia trip last week, have I mentioned I went to Ethiopia? I got a bit obsessed about maps. I've kind of bought a whole heap of maps. So hopefully now I'm showing you stuff as we speak, kind of give you an idea of where this coffee is grown. If you like the map stuff, you need to let me know because it's a lot of extra work. But if it's worth it, then I will continue to do it. So do let me know. So, we should say a little bit about Rwanda first of all. Officially called the Republic of Rwanda, is bordered by Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Rwanda has a population of 11 million people and is one of the densest populated countries in Africa. I think for a small country, it really punches above its weight in the coffee world. And it's a country that's kind of really improved on quality in recent years. If you go back to 1994, when the genocide was happening in Rwanda, where nearly 1 million people lost their lives, it's a country that has really picked itself up. I remember when I visited Rwanda, kind of sitting down with people and talking about it. It's incredibly powerful and an incredibly sad time, but they've really kind of taken life on from there. So the coffee anyway, this is a fully washed red Bourbon, as I said, from Kigoma. This is a coffee that when I cupped it, it was a big surprise. It was a sample out the blue from someone that we don't normally buy coffee from, and I instantly loved it. It's a delicious coffee, and this is a great reason to love a coffee, I think, if it's delicious and it's not overly complicated. You don't need to think about it too much. And it's a coffee that I just drink and really enjoy. It's just an exciting coffee. The Rwandan coffee kind of scene has had a bit of a troubled past. As I was saying earlier about the time where the genocide happened. Previous to that, they were exporting around about 45,000 tonnes of coffee. And that had a really big effect on obviously the genocide did, on the whole infrastructure within the country. And lots of the people that knew how to export and knew how to process, lives were lost and companies were broken up. And now Rwanda currently produces less than half of that amount. But what they have done is they've raised the quality. They've raised the quality of the cup, they've raised the quality of the processing. They were the first country to be involved in the Cup of Excellence programme in Africa, which was a huge step for such a small country. Hats off to the Cup of Excellence, actually, because they made it happen in a country where it's very difficult for the competition as it currently stands to kind of happen. And I was lucky enough to be on that first ever jury in Rwanda, which was an amazing experience. It's kind of cool as it comes from last week's second trip to Africa, talking about a coffee that obviously, I've been to before as well, so that was cool. So yeah, the climate in Rwanda, the altitude, it's the country of 1,000 hills, I think that's what they call. It's like the tagline they use for their tourist board, and it does have incredible altitude, incredible quality of coffee, a great plant stock. Sorry, excuse the noise in the background. This is why I'm doing it in here and not in the green screen room, because it's even noisier in there. The wind is horrendous today. So we bought this from a small co-op. I don't know so much about it. This is a problem of buying from co-ops. But we have been sent some very basic information, and we've also been sent the photos that you're seeing now. This is something. I hope to get more. I'm going to keep kind of badgering the importer. So some numbers. It comes from Kigoma. It's a red Bourbon. It is a fully washed, submerged in water, dried on African raised beds. The owner of the co-op is the Rwandan Mountain Coffee Limited, I think it is. Altitude is between 1,900 and 2,000 metres. Picking, this was interesting information. They do 6 to 8 picks where they will go through and pick, and then they will do another pick and another pick, so they won't pick it all in one go, which is obviously a good thing. The fermentation is done in a 32 hours submersed fermentation, and then is sun-dried. And yeah, it's manually screened, so they use the ladies to pick out, I think this place is going to fall down in a minute, to pick out all of the defects and things like that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whap you on pause. I'm going to go and make the coffee in an old styly, because I'm in an old styly way, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. Okay, so this coffee is an espresso. It doesn't do a lot for me. It's a bit too tarty, it's a bit too much acidity, it's very bright, it's just not my bag. I can see some people loving it. For me, I'm not a fan of the espresso. So, snozzer in the bowl. Now this is better. This is more what I expect. It's got a beautiful kind of, it's a balance. It's very rounded, it's very complete. There's nothing too much going on there. There's no one dominant flavour. You get a little bit of a lemon and lime. You get a lot of sweetness. It's a great, great smelling coffee, but it's not like La Lujon, for instance, or Limoncillo, or the Las Brumas we had last week, you know, kind of, yeah, it's not massively aromatic, it doesn't smell complicated, it just smells smooth and balanced. And so time to dive into the milk. My milk was horrendous this week. But the coffee makes up for it. The coffee kind of cuts through. You do get that acidity kind of working its way through there. It comes through the milk quite well. I prefer it in milk than I do as the espresso. So it's that time again. Which way will the wheel of death come out of here? It's going to come one way. I think it might be that way. So this week's wheel of death is going to be Eva Solo. So the Eva Solo that I have hidden down here is a brew method that we've done on the wheel of death before. There will be others. As I said, it's random, and it just came out that this is up again. It does give me a great chance to tell you to go and look at our Eva Solo brew guide again, because I am very proud of that one. I couldn't find any brew guides on Eva Solo on the internet, so it was great to chuck one out there. I'm sure there are others, there's no need to send them to me, but I was really pleased with this one. And the mug I'm going to use this week, these were, we ordered our cappuccino cups, and we asked for some in white as a one-off print run, and they did them very kindly for us. But for some reason we ended up with some of these as well, and we were going to send them back. And I said to Dale, no, we could use these for brewed coffee. And I actually think they might be quite a nice size for brewed coffee. And I think they look beautiful. No plans to sell them. But yeah, it's a pretty nice cup. So that's my timer for the Eva Solos we poured. You see how I was padding then and filling out. I can stop that, I think, now. So the smell on the cup, again, it just smells, It smells like the grinds do. There's a little bit of acidity in there, you know it's going to come, but it just smells very balanced. Now, I don't know if this is accentuated by the Eva Solo. Actually, I do know because we were brewing it on Chemex on Friday as well, and it was exactly the same. You get this beautiful, lovely, creamy mouthfeel. It just consumes the mouth. This is like a really, really smooth coffee. Super, super clean. Like, this is cleanliness gone mad. This is cleanliness on steroids. It is very transparent, and through that transparency, you see the acidity kick through. This is where it comes alive for me, is in the brewed coffee. It's lively, it's bright, you get lemons, you get a little hint of lime. It is just a tantalising acidity, but it never gets too much. Now, a lot of the Kenyas sometimes can kind of go a bit far. It's a bit kind of exaggerated. This isn't. This is much more controlled, and I think that's because of that initial creamy mouthfeel that you get coming through. This is a delicious brewed coffee. Like, one of the best brewed coffees of this year for me. I think it just really, really excels in that. And I'm thinking maybe that's why I'm a bit harsh on it on the espresso, because I know how amazing it is here, and it isn't a bad coffee in espresso, because the acidity isn't as in your face as lots of Rwandans. I'm scared this place is going to blow down. It's so noisy. But it just, this makes this look worse than what it really is. In this, I think this is a fantastic find. Yeah, I'm very pleased to be presenting it to you. So some numbers before we go. So Rwandan Kigoma, it's a red Bourbon grown in the south of Rwanda in the Hoi district. It is a fully washed, dried and African raised beds, owned by the Rwandan Mountain Coffee Company Limited, grown at around about 1,900 to 2,000 metres above sea level. It is fermented, submerged in water for 32 or 36? 32 hours. Dried on screens and on patios, and yeah, that is the Rwandan. Hope you've enjoyed it, hope you liked it. I always said I was going to mix these up a little bit. It was never all going to be about the green screen. We've had a couple of weeks without. I feel the temptation probably to go back into next week, but whatever. I hope that where it's set doesn't matter as much as enjoying the videos and learning a little bit more about the coffees that you're drinking. Anything else I need to talk about? Oh, yes. Hopefully, I'm going to show you a little sneak peek now. I've recorded in my roastery the final, so you're going to get a final kind of view of the roastery. It isn't finished. I don't think we're ever going to be finished. I put it off for as long as I could, so hopefully I'm going to give you a little tour around, and that will be going on Hasblog later on in the week, so do keep your eyes on hasblog.co.uk for that, and I'm going to wrap up before I create more editing issues for me to deal with. Life is too short for bad coffee, and if this never makes it out and this building collapses because of the wind and the howling gale outside, remember me fondly.